Yudhishthirji, from shlokas 19 onwards, that may one not consciously meditate upon the objective reality which is responsible for invoking desires in all of us, the asankalpa jayet kamam krodham kama vivarjitam, and the anger can be overcome kama vivarjitam by finding out the root cause of the desires. It is the unfulfillment of desires that creates in us this anger. Over here, arthan, artha anartha ikshaya, the calamitous nature of artha, the objects which bog us down, which adds a weight to our mental personality. It is not the presence of the objects in our life, but it is the relationship that we have with the objects in our mind is what is talked about over here. The anartha is over here talked about as artha anartha, the calamitous nature of wealth over here, but all objects which are of possession. And lobham bhayam tattva avamarsanat, by inquiry into the truth, that what am I, greed, the possessive nature of getting more and more and more, bhayam, the fear, and we looked at all of these in great details. Then we looked at anvikshikya shokamohau dambam mahadupasaya yogantarayan maunena himsa kayadya nihaya anvikshikya shokamohau. We saw this with great detail. Bhagavad Gita starts about, the whole Gita starts with that you grieve for that which should not be grieved for. And Arjuna's question is a material question of the material world, that I do not want to fight the war is on the outside. And Bhagavan doesn't give a material answer to his material objective question, he gives a spiritual answer. And that is the greatness of Gita, that for these problems born out of material reality, there is no material fix for it. It is going to be there. It is how we interpret it, and the spiritual understanding of the objective reality and the subjective presence that alone helps us deal with the world which is in front of us. So the grief and the delusion born out of grief, and that is what is talked about it, that anvikshikya by seeing the truth. And that is what I meant, the spiritual answers to fix the personality at a spiritual level. And the understanding at the spiritual level allows us to deal with the material objective reality with proper understanding. That alone fixes our sorrow and the delusion born out of sorrow which paralyzes us. That ashocyan anvashochastvam, that you grieve for that which should not be grieved for. Why? Because you understand the material reality. It has its own nature, it is time bound, so on and so forth. So we saw that. Dambham mahadupasaya, this dambha, hypocrisy in living, and the mind which thinks one thing and does something else. That split nature of mind is what is talked about as hypocrisy. That it shows one face over here, shows the other one, but thinks about something else. It thinks something else, it does something else. That can only be overcome by, over here, Mahad Upasaya. Mahad Upasaya, by great Upasana. Upasana is leading this mind to a higher thought time and again, and it is involving the physical level, involving at the mental level, involvement at the intellectual level. The whole personality is involved in Upasana. Upasana may start out with a small little puja of a Shivalinga, Shaligram, whatever one's own deity may be, that a tending to this little baby Krishna, whatnot, in continuously involving the mind, in taking the mind to the higher lofty ideals represented by the idol. That itself weeds out the split nature of the mind. It brings the mind to a cohesive wholeness, rather than the mind splitting itself in all types of dualities. When the physical body is seated in one place, when the mind is involved in doing the upasana and the intellect actually comprehends the ideals represented by that little idol, at that point in time the whole personality is united, and the united personality allows the mind to heal, and that is Dambham Mahadupasya. Great people have become great only because of Upasana, because they have tended to a spiritual thirst by, at the physical level, at the mental level, at the intellectual level, the whole personality unites itself in invoking the divinity, and the divinity manifests. And that personality which binds to the higher ideals, then the person's mind doesn't become split in showing various faces in various conditions, various places, and that is why this upasana is very important. Then yogantarayana maunena. The yogantaraya, all types of obstacles born in our spiritual life. All types of obstacles born in our spiritual life. I want to go to the temple, but something came up. The child is sick, the car breaks down, the job responsibilities increase, whatnot. Silently we look at all the things which are happening on our path of self-evolution, and all the things which happen intellectually, mentally, we understand the presence of all the obstacles, but we do not complain. That is called maunam. When we look at all things that happen and silently accept all obstacles, even though it's an obstacle, that obstacle has arrived to teach us the little quirks in our personality, the little rough edges in our personality. These obstacles are the ones which sharpen. The obstacles are the one which actually remove the sharp edges, and it becomes a nice continuous wheel out of a stone. Very beautiful play Swami Chinmayananji had come up with for Bal Vihar kids, and it is based upon this Keno Upanishad, that the Varuna Bhagavan goes in front of this Yaksha which has appeared, and the fire god, the wind god, the water god, they thought they could conquer all types of forces. And the Yaksha gives a little blade of grass. The water had to wash it off, and that water had great arrogance that I have so much power and force. It tried its level best. The blade of grass remained there. The fire god was asked to burn. It also remained there. The wind god was asked to blow away. It remained there. Finally, Indra Bhagavan comes over there and he inquires into it. Who are you? Please reveal yourself, because I by myself, my powers are limited. So he approaches with humility, he approaches with prayer, and the Yaksha reveals itself over there. Haimavati, mother Parvati, was hidden over there, and she says that this is the strength of Brahman, this is the strength of consciousness. So a play was derived that all these different shapes, a child is wearing a triangle, another child is wearing a hexagon, another child is wearing a square, another child is wearing a pentagon. So all different shapes, and each shape has so many different points, and they were all asked to roll, and the rolling could not happen. So the triangle one tried to roll, it came on one side and it got stuck. So all of them were asked that they had to go into a little ditch, into a little well which had a lot of rough edges, and all they had to do was rub against the wall until all the corners, which are very sharp, became nice and round. So the triangle had to become a circle, the square had to become a circle, the pentagon had to become a circle, the hexagon had to become a circle, and when all of became a circle, it is only a circle that can roll. And circle is one complete whole which has no edges. And in the same way, the mind has so many shapes with sharp edges, and necessarily that sharp edges structure of the mind cannot roll on one homogeneous mass of pure existence. So the mind's sharp edges had to be removed by creating friction, and the friction is none other than this obstacles created in yoga. The more we complain about the obstacles, each complaint creates one more edge. So 2 edges will become a 3-edged triangle, 3-edged triangle will become a 4-edged square, 4-edged square will become a 5-edged pentagon, 5-edged pentagon will become a hexagon, and you can just imagine the sharp edges when they keep on rising. The less we verbalize our problems, the more the weight of the bala of our sadhana, our upasana removes these rough edges, and it becomes a very nice, soft, round, mental personality which can roll on this entire fabric of creation, and it can just roll out of the problems of creation. So that is yogantarayana maunena. Only by silently forbearing the pinpricks of life and even offering those at the feet of Bhagavan allows us to come out of problems of life. Then himsa kayadya hinaya, himsam, injury, kayadi anihaya, by controlling the physical activity, by controlling the movement of the body. That is how one rises over himsa, injury. And that little mosquito while seated doing japa, and that mosquito which creates an obstacle. Very easy to just kill the mosquito, swat the fly, but having understood that all this is part of the creation, if we gently take up during meditation a shawl or something and cover oneself and let it do its job, then we develop compassion. At the same time, we learn the ability to deal with the created world without modifying the created world. The more we modify the created world with activity, the more injury we cause to the world. That is called himsa. Especially when we remove the biological diversity present, because each one of the living beings coming over here, each one of them have come over here to exhaust their vasanas. And if our vasana intermingles with them, if we create a karmic debt, that only perpetuates our existence, and that is meant by himsa. Somebody who, this is not himsa thought or word, this is the physical himsa, when the body is so much active. At that point in time, without thinking, we remove the world of charachara, the movable, the immovable species over here. That over here is talked about as himsa. Continuing, shloka number 21. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham,
Krupaya bhutajam dukkham,
Daivam jahyat samadhina,
Daivam jahyat samadhina,
Atmajam yoga viryena,
Atmajam yoga viryena,
Nidram sattva nishevaya.
Nidram sattva nishevaya.
So, krupaya bhutajam dukkham. This bhutajam dukkham, sorrow born out of other living beings, and especially sorrow born from other human beings who create different obstacles in our life, who create awkward situations and all sorts of things. Krupaya, by compassion, just accepting people for who they are. Mentally, when we create a fortress that preserves our energy, This compassion goes a long way. Compassion becomes the actual aura which is capable of preserving the spiritual ojas from leaking out. The physical ojas is prevented by the absence of activity or the words uttered, but the mental ojas is preserved by keeping the feelings and emotions within without losing the temperament of the mind. When mind remains calm in all situations, its ojas, its spiritual strength remains, and that can only be overcome by compassion, accepting and learning to deal with people. Daivam jahyat samadhina. The phenomenal forces which create problem. Heat is there, cold is there, dogs are barking, so many things are going on in the phenomenal world present in front of us. To go out of our way to avoid this daivajam problem, the best thing to do is to enter a quiet samadhi. Over here, continue with the spiritual practices. In fact, in the presence of all obstacles, if we can continue our spiritual practices, nothing better than that, because that actually allows us to grow. The children are playing in the playground, whatnot. So slowly, and actually if we go to India, the temples are filled with people, and even if that 2 or 3 minutes silence we want to enjoy with Bhagavan, it is difficult. But yet if we in such places we try and put an attempt to quietly sit for samadhi, at least make an attempt, that mind will be able to, it will learn to filter out noise and it will grow within. So Daivam jahyat samadhina atmajam yoga viryena. So bodily afflictions, yoga viryena. There are so many people who complain about, aches and pains, and then there are complicated diseases born out of body. What can we do? And out of fear of preventing disease, people modify their life so much that it becomes a hassle to even live life. So over here, yoga viryena, by one's own spiritual strength, we conquer bodily diseases. Born out of physical body, there are so many diseases. Raman Maharshi ji and Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, they've gone through cancer, and those were the days where there was no treatment. You just had to allow that disease to take over and watch it destroy the whole body. And the others are watching you die in front. What do? So we have one acharya and come up with cancer, and doctor says there's nothing we can do. 2 months. And she said, good, I don't want any of this treatment. 2 months? 2 months I will spend with Bhagavan. And email has gone out, please don't contact me, I'm doing okay. There's one person who's helping and serving me. You can email that person will let you know about my conditions. Bas, leave me alone now. God wants this body, let him claim it. Now what can you do when such problems, afflictions take over? These are grave diseases. You cannot do anything. Proper attitude, and actually proper attitude itself allows the healing process to go on. So we have this little headaches and migraines, and on one side and on the other side grave diseases. Atma Viryena, by the strength of one's own spiritual practices, the yoga of spiritual understanding, and that spiritual understanding allows us to make decisions. There are people, no, you should not do that, you should go through this chemo, you will get 2 more months. We must also learn to accept that they have free will too in their life. We may want them in our lives for 2 months, but they don't want, and their will is more important than our selfishness. And if that understanding is not there, there is actually no spiritual growth. We must learn not to poke our nose in people's affair, and that actually is an insignia of growth. It is not that that person is disinterested. Prayers will be there for them. Well wishes will be there for them. Unconditional love, acceptance will be there for them. But we are not being additional burden upon them to deal with. As it is, they are going through so many things, they have to think about so many things. Why add a burden to it? So this is a real problem. I see, and then they have to come to a Swami, to the Swamiji, we are telling them they should go through this treatment. It is their life. So that is why this is very important. Atmajam Yoga Viryena. Leave everybody to their own ways in dealing with their problems in life. And we have to teach this to children, that look, you can only deal with life provided you have developed inner strength to deal with it. If we create a complete dependence of that child on parents, it's not going to work. It's like you learn to do your own laundry, your room, your everything. These are just physical things to take care of. And then they have some conflict. Mom, I have a problem with my friend. This is what she said. Like, you figure out. I am not over here to deal with your friend problem. If you have come to a decision, and if you want to know whether your decision is correct or not, whether you want my opinion, I'm willing to give, but I'm not going to make. This is how we learn to grow, and we teach others to grow. Only a spiritual vision will give us total freedom. We want to be free from our equipment, and we are creating dependence and bondage on somebody else's equipment. That understanding of spirituality is so important. A marital relationship, if it turns into dependence, it has served no purpose. If the couple loves one another, there is complete trust and faith in each other, to have freedom to do what they want to do, and should be able to share. Try it out. The whole purpose in that Grihastha ashram is to come out of all dependence and develop vairagya for Vanaprastha ashram and sannyas. We have to move on, we have to move on. So in all types of relationships, best friends for life, in childhood friends, Swamiji, we grew up together, very good. We want to live in the same neighborhood, good, nothing wrong in it. But if your day cannot move forward without seeing your friend, that's madness. I know such people. They've said that, oh, we were friends in India and even over here we want to live in the, forget about the same city, same street. So that type of bondage creates great amount of stagnation in our growth. There is no growth. So, Atmajam Yoga Viryena, we must grow. Every year there has to be growth. Every year there has to be growth. Then, Nidram Sattva Nishevaya. Nidram, sleep. The physical body requires sleep, no doubt about it. It becomes tired, it becomes exhausted. Whatever your body needs, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it requires, by now we should know what is a restful sleep. But anything more than that, to get an empty day, that itself is a rare luxury. And that day we spend off on lounging and things like that, then nothing happens. Make use of time. Nidra is an insignia of tamas. That is what is said over here. The tamo guna should be conquered by sattva nishevaya. Sattva, the sattvic guna, nishevaya, literally the sevanam, the worshipping of sattva guna. And over here it is said, how do you worship sattva guna? Create sattvic habits, that's all. So that is how we worship sattva guna, by invoking sattvic habits. So turn all habits in living into sattvic habits. Eating out, people like, okay, you want to do that, do it. Make sure you go to sattvic places. I have to watch movies. Let them be sattvic. So slowly, if we move towards the sattva guna, then the sattvic guna itself, starts taking over the personality, and the entire personality is nothing but the admixture of the three gunas. The three gunas in equilibrium, when the three gunas are in complete equilibrium, there is no creation. The creation has gone to its dormant state. But when the three gunas start vibrating, that is the expression of creation. That's when creation comes into manifestation. When the sattva guna is more, we call it satyuga. Sat is invoked, sattva is invoked. And in satyuga, if we see, it was the yuga of thinking. It was a yuga of meditation. All that we see that exists in terms of literature for growth, where did it come from? Kali Yuga? Definitely not. All our Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas, when have they come? Not in this Yuga. It is a Yuga of inspiration. So in our life, we have to invoke that Sattva Guna. And the minute activities start taking on, of course Rajo Guna is there. And the Rajo Guna is a physical exhaustion, mental exhaustion. How much will we be able to dodge the bullets of the world? It will get tired. It will get tired. So creating this sattvic habits, it's very important. And once the sattvic habits are created, the same personality which needed 7 hours of sleep, now it requires 6 hours of sleep. So we have actually gained an hour. With that additional hour, if little bit more spirituality is done within that hour, even that 6 hours will turn into 5.5 hours, whatever it is. Our Gurudev used to hardly sleep 2 hours. He would come for international arrival 2 a.m. and all the brahmacharis had to be there with Purna Kumbha welcoming him. So they have to stay awake. He is welcomed at 2 a.m. Thank you very much. 5 o'clock we will meet for our class. And they're like, 2 o'clock we are awake, you want us to come at 5 again? Class starts at 5. He takes shower, 20-30 minutes he lies down for his Nidra Samadhina, Shankaracharya ji says in Shivamanasa Puja. So his Nidra is Samadhi Avastha. Actually, completely the full body is healed, even though the heart is only 10%, but that 10% can deliver 110%. So that is the power. That is the power. We can, the whole life is filled with Sattva Guna. He used to, eat some pickle, and somebody made a comment. Hey, you ask us not to eat pickle. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that this is Swamiji tamasik. How come you are eating avakai? He said, if I don't do this, even the 21 hours that I work, there won't be enough rajas to do the work of the mission. He said those 21 hours, it is an expression of sattva. I need little bit of rajas, because all my activities are sattvic. He had to introduce Rajo Guna. Forcefully eat little bit of avakai. There was no need, and people say, you eat, so we can also eat. He said, you eat and then you dance to what that mirpakai makes you do. So, we cannot, he's eating it, I can eat it. His 22 hours are sattvic. He said, I have to respect that this body, mind, intellect, the whole equipment, are 3 gunas of Prakriti. Somewhere I have to add that. And his idea of Tamoguna, once in a while, he will watch Wimbledon. And he will actually have some pillows. You will never see Gurudev anywhere pillows around. Like his Guru Taponji Maharaj, until the day of samadhi, not one pillow was used to sleep. Taponji Maharaj, literally as described in Bhaj Govindam, underneath a tree and hand becomes a pillow. Bas. What tapascharya. Today this whole institution is, tapascharya of these Mahatmas. You see any video of Chinmayananji Maharaj, you will never see him like this. Never. So once in a while he will watch tennis match. He liked tennis. And he would ask, put a chair, put pillow down here, pillow back there, and pillow on the floor. 3 pillows. Once in a while, watching that, he says, this is tamoguna, watch. One day he came to our home and he said, turn on the TV. Cricket match was going on. And pillow down there, pillow over here, pillow on the back, and said, give me tea. Gujarat, you cannot find coffee. He used to like coffee. Okay, you give tea. So he had that masala tea. And he sat down. And in those days, Gavaskar was there. So he came and he looked at him. 3 balls he has, bus. 3rd ball out. He says, turn it off, over, tamas over. Three balls, he turned on the TV to watch Gavaskar, out, wicket over, 3 balls. And my aunt says, please don't open your mouth because it becomes true. Why are you saying it? And he says, what can I do? It comes to me, it comes to me. I'm not saying because I want him to lose, the universe wants him to lose. So India has to face this loss in front of Pakistan. 3 balls, tamas over, turn the TV off. Are, you just sat? Bas, that was it. 3 balls, 1 sip, take everything away, remove pillows, done. Back to sitting straight. I've never seen Gurudev, never. The abode of Sattva Guna. So, with such a person, where can Nidra Devi come? She would have to stay far away like the devotees, and she is also terrified of people would quietly come. Otherwise, she can also be shooed out of the room. That was his power. Even Nidra Devi couldn't do anything. He had to, imagine, introduce Rajas with little bit of pickle. So, this is possible. You know, a simple boy from Kerala grows up to be like that. Even his guru, he would have tears in his eyes. He says, I am wearing all these silk clothes with gold borders and Swiss watches people are giving and Rudraksha mala in pure gold and everything. My guru, just one cloth, another one, Uttarkashi, he had nothing. And yet, he lived like a royal king. Because over here, no possession. So the whole universe gives whatever he wants, but no desire. Absolutely no desire. And such a person is happy person. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parth manogatan. First ita prajna lakshan. Every time I chant that, Taponji Maharaj comes. The abode of that, not one desire, even a desire to eat. No. Somebody has to arrive over there and give food. Please eat. To make them happy, one or two. God knows how the Prakriti functioned. Sustenance from Gangaji, water and air. Literally. And the sunlight. So, this is the abode of Sattva. And he would walk, and not like he would just sit. Yamunotri today, Gangotri over there, and walking. Crossing these huge mountains. And no REI gear, Barefooted. So, these great people, they conquer Prakriti itself. The Prakriti herself is baffled that where is this coming from? Pure Shiva in the midst of Prakriti. Rajastamascha sattvena Sattvam chopashamena cha Etat sarvam gurau bhaktya Purusha hyanjasa jayet Rajasas tamasas cha sattvena rajaha tamaha. The rajoguna, the sattva guna, the rajoguna, the tamoguna, sattvena. Consciously invoke the sattvic guna. And how do we do that? Chapter 14, chapter 16, chapter 17, these three chapters analyzes the gunas. These three chapters give us a concrete ways of cultivating sattva guna. So these three rajas, intense activity. All our activity has to lead it. The activities should lead us to Bhagavan. If our activity doesn't lead us over there, then it is a waste of the equipment's strength. So turn your work into worship. Whatever it may be, just turn it into worship. Otherwise, it is just a drain of the vitality that we have. So the vital strength is completely drained. So rajaha tamaha cha sattvena, by this sattvic guna. Sattvam cha upashamena cha. And when the sattvic guna rises, what do I do with this sattvic guna? Sattvic guna upashama. What is upashama? Push these two to its penultimate nature of abidance in the truth. Upashama, take the mind and intellect towards samadhi. Meditate. That's why I say, sprinkle meditation throughout the day, even if it is for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 5-6 times you do throughout the whole day. Just go to your car, if it is a work a day, just go over there, quietly open, sit in it for 2 minutes. Lead your mind to this divine silence within. This will allow the sattva guna to be invoked. This is how in the middle of a Rajasic day, you can invoke some Sattva. Don't think you have to sit for 20-30 minutes. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You've come out of a big meeting at work and you have to go back to your desk. People take a coffee break. You can sit in the cubicle itself 2 minutes. Bas, close your eyes and invoke deep silence. This is called Upashama. Take the mind to the Sattvic and then drop it in the pool of absolute silent Samadhi. Sprinkle this throughout your whole day. You are cooking something and you have to wait in front of that stove for a few minutes. In front of there, put a chair, just quietly withdraw for 2 minutes. Wake up, come out. Even that food which is being prepared will have the sattvic energy. So this is sattvam cha upashamena cha etat sarvam guru bhaktya. What Swami Chinmayanandaji did for 43 years, not a moment, he lived without remembering his Guru. 43 years was offering all that he has learned from his Guru. He said, I'm serving my Guru. You think of it as Chinmaya mission. If you want to keep it, you keep it. If you want to fold this mission after I'm gone, you fold it. Until I am alive, I am going to serve my Guru and Narayana as the universe. This Guru Bhakti, devotion to that one teacher who puts a cap to transmigration of life. You cannot pay back that teacher with anything except absolute love, devotion and surrender. And the greater the inner surrender to a Mahatma, the greater will be the cleansing of the equipment. If today I run to this teacher, I follow this instruction. Tomorrow I run to that teacher, follow. There is no nishtha. Not that the teachers are wrong. Each one of them are leading their disciples to that higher. But there needs to be a complete convergence of pouring off the energy of the equipment, and that can only be done out of absolute surrender to the teacher. Etat sarvam, everything that has been talked about over here, Narad Muni saying, Hey Yudhishthir, everything that you have learned, done, the final cleansing of the mind, it is in the hand of Guru. Our Swamiji in Palakkad, Swami Asheshananda, he came to the mission at a very young age. And when somebody is in their youth, there's so much energy. So much energy is there and needs to be exhausted. So he approached Chinmayanandaji after the batch is over. Swamiji said, you go to Palakkad. You came from that area, go back to Palakkad. He went 2-3 years. He was bored over there. When Gurudev came to Kerala, he said, Swamiji, move me to Kannur, move me to Trichur, wherever I am. He said, this is your place for life. Your mukti is in my hands. If you work and serve and dedicate everything, the power of the Guru itself will liberate you. If not, you go to all cities of Kerala and you take 1,000 birds to do that continuously, nothing's going to happen. Even today, Asheshanandji quietly sits in Kerala. He has Gnan Yajnas galore, but impeccable devotion to the feet of Gurudev. He in front of everybody. So, what somebody may say, what audacity does a guru have to speak like this? He knows the disciple, that's why he's speaking. Without knowing a disciple, he has not said this to everybody. He only said that to Asheshanand. Name also appropriately given. Ashesha Anand. Leftover bliss you will get from me. And you are going to have to work for it. So work. Dedicate everything. This place is the place of your Param Guru. Tapovanam has come through this. You are responsible for that. So he built a temple in that village of Taponji Maharaj and put a priest over there. He's done so many things in our Asheshanandji in that whole Palghat area. But once he understood that center is in cruise control, and the ones who are prolific speakers and everything, they realize, wow, I can speak. Now I will go create my own. And that great Vakta, the minute they walk out of Guru's Chhatra, God knows what happens to that Vani. A person on television, gone the very next day. I've seen this. I've seen this. So, etat sarvam ghuro bhaktya purushaha hi anjasa jayet. That person, anjasa jayet, quickly, in no time, that person conquers all. He conquers all types of negativity. The mind becomes pure, and the Guru Tattva, this is called the awakening of the internal Guru. Outside Guru's job is to provide that purity so the internal Guru can be awakened and taken higher. And that's why he said, your mukti is in my hand, because this purity I will deliver, you are free. This, we have another great Swamiji in Trichur, Gambirananda. He is also, these are all from, like first, second batches. Now when we 17th batch will start and all those, but still holding on to Gurudev, because they've understood that this Guru's Sharanagati, what it does, nothing can purify that. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.